uh, and do an EXP commercial for myself. But we started this program, I want to say 3.5 years or so ago. So it's been a labor of love, learned a lot of things along the way. We're constantly looking to improve things as well as we go. And so that's some of the stuff that we're going to talk about today as we look to make those constant, program improvements. But again, I'm 21 years active duty. My wife's built up her real estate business while I'm active duty, and I've been working, side by side with her as off-duty employment. Um, we came over to EXP in 2019, and we were at 5.8 million in volume the year prior. And then throughout the years, 2022 was our peak so far. We hit 52 million in volume after building up our team. So feel very fortunate for the company that we're at, the support that we get, and also those that we get to partner with. Um, I know chatting with Zohar about his experience coming out, the successes he's had, the blessings he's had, everything else. I think he is likely, he'll probably blush or not want me to say this, but likely our gold standard of an intern to hold up to you guys as far as what we expect people to do going through the program. Also just the partnership afterwards, the relationship afterwards, and his commitment to putting in the work. With that, I know this last year was a banner year for him and his wife, and we're sitting at around $250,000 or more of earned income GCI from the real estate side, only a couple years into real estate. And so I'll tell you, that was not our experience starting out in real estate. We're very happy that he has had that success and been able to grow that quickly, and that we've been able to, be a small part of that as he's grown out. So, again, congrats to him. As always, Zora, I appreciate you being a part of this program still and pouring back into our interns and giving back and just the servant heart that you have. So appreciate that.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure working with everybody.
Amen. So what we want to go through today a little bit, again, we appreciate all of you being in this program. Obviously, you have a choice of SkillBridge programs out there. Ours, I think, is one of the largest when it comes to real estate as far as location offerings, number of interns that we've helped, all of that type of stuff. But again, as we go and as the market changes, as opportunities change, we're always looking for ways to make it better. So our goal, obviously, is you guys coming out, having success. I will tell you, we've had some interns come through the program and at the end say, look, real estate's not for me, right? Like I thought it was going to be, I got into it. I just don't think this is the right career path. Thank you for the opportunity and helping me figure that out while I'm still receiving income from the DoD. I'm going to go a different direction. And that's totally fine too, right? Like we want you guys to be able to use this as a way to explore what you're looking to do and to be able to build out a true profession after the military and support you and your family. Ideally, we'd like to obviously partner with each one of you coming out, right, and help you build and help you be successful. And whatever that level of success is, whether it's, paying one bill for the year or reaching the level of success like Zohar did, right? So regardless of what that is, we're here to help do that with you guys. The other thing that I wanted to identify, and this, sort of parallels, I think, what most of us are used to seeing within military leadership. But, you guys may not see us on here all the time, right? But just understand that we're always in the background, working with Zohar, working with our team, interfacing with DoD, interfacing with other agents, and trying to find ways to make the program better for you guys and also protecting the program, right? It's very important that we protect the integrity of not only our program, but the ability for the DoD to keep doing the SkillBridge program going forward so that you guys all have these types of opportunities and those coming after you have the same type of opportunity. So we work really hard on that aspect of it and moving that needle forward. We will have more opportunities coming up for you guys, which will tie into some things that we're going to be releasing. And so our focus here in 2024, including for all of you currently going through the program, is going to be providing more opportunities for some hands-on activities. And so that includes, helping draft offers for agents, setting up open house signs, attending open houses and assisting them with those, helping, people sign in. If you're licensed, showing clients around if our team agents can use that type of support, right? If they've got a client that needs to see homes, attending inspections, all the types of things that you're going to need to do once you become a licensed agent. Cold calling, posting to Facebook. I mean, there's a ton of different lead generation stuff that is talked about within the program currently, that our next phase is starting to show you how to implement better by actually implementing and doing things that support us as a company and will help support you when you come out with that skill set. And so that's the next phase that we're looking to grow into within the program. And you'll see those items start to get released over the next month. We have a couple sheets already for you that will identify tracking that you guys will do, that type of stuff. So we have something called a 100-point day. And basically it's a sheet that allows you to see whether or not you're winning the day. And the idea is that every single day that you're doing your SkillBridge internship, that you're actually participating in it. So not, Saturday or Sunday if you take those days off, but
I'm curious as to how many people
going
have heard
through,
about it.
doing the activities, marking down what activities you did, and then
Oh.
reaching 100 points or more each day, right? And the idea behind it is creating
David, I don't know if you heard me or not.
have coming out to be successful in real estate. I'm sure Zora can attest to this and has probably talked about it many times. There's a big shift that happens when you go from being military to being a realtor, right? Even for those agents on our team, we're not sitting there shouting at them, doing whatever, forcing them to pick up the phone and dial, right? No one's going to put a gun to your head and make you dial the phone. No one's going to make you send that email. No one's going to make you send the text, right? So there's a level of self-discipline that you have to create that a lot of us are not necessarily used to as you transition out of the military. We're used to, okay, you need to be a self-starter somewhat, but your boss is going to have tasks for you to do. Your unit has a mission to accomplish that's typically well-defined. You have items that you have to do. You have your role, go fill it, get it done, and accomplish the mission, right? In real estate, typically you're filling like the entire role of what a unit would to fulfill that mission, right? Your mission is helping your clients successfully buy and sell real estate. And especially as you first start out as agents, you're going to fill the role typically of the TC, of the social media person, of the offer writer, of the person showing homes, of every single aspect, right? But you don't have anyone there typically forcing you forward. And so one of the things that we did in the past that I think has been beneficial is we did identify, the requirement for people to have an accountability partner, right? That was brought up to us, I think, maybe a year ago by, I believe it was one of our interns that's graduated and said, hey, I think this would be helpful for our military folks going through. Can we do an accountability partner system? And we're like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea, right? Let's go ahead and implement it. So that's changed and that's been implemented since then. So again, we're always looking to make the program better. That's one of those things where we will take inputs from interns, right? And see if it makes sense for the company and for all the interns that are going through this program. And if it does, work to implement it with the team. As far as other expectations, in addition to the items that I went through for the 100-point day and all that type of stuff, there's a Monday mastermind. If you guys aren't on, right, you guys should be on every week. The Fast Forward Movement Mastermind. I mean, we're doing, again, we did $92 million in volume over the last 2 years as a team. We attend those as much as we can. There's a ton of ideas that come up. There's a ton of business things that you can implement straight out of those. It's free coaching every single week from people that are in the business, succeeding, that are, giving out their playbook, right? And that's part of why we're a part of the Fast Forward movement, and we're, part of EXP, is because of that open collaboration. And so make sure that you're taking advantage of that. Once you get your license, one of the new expectations as well will be there is an accountability call. In addition to doing, this call with Zora and the team, there's an accountability call that Jeff Kiani puts on, who's one of our business partners. And we're going to be releasing that out to the group as well, if it's not already out there, for you guys to attend that. And so the expectation will be, once you're licensed, to be on those calls. Because again, it's going to be someone else to help you be accountable, that's been in the industry, been around, very successful realtors throughout his career, has coached them, and he's there to provide that coaching for you guys. So those are some new expectations there. As far as like the registration fee and all that, you guys all know about it. Pretty much everyone in the program's paid for it, unless you're Army. Army obviously has exemptions due to DoD regs. But again, our goal is for each and every one of you to come through this program, partner up with us, meet the requirements to earn that back, right? I would love to pay you all back your registration fee at the end of the day. We had to implement it, as we talked about before, because we had some folks come through the program and break the rules, right? And violate the program requirements and just not uphold their side of the integrity expectations. And so this was a way for everyone to put some skin in the game, to buy into the expectations and to move forward, as a united unit going through this. But again, there's clear set guidance on how to earn that back. We would love to pay that back to you guys as you graduate out, partner with us, and start selling real estate. One of the other things that we're going to be a little bit more directive on, I guess I would say, is everyone going through the program. If you haven't already received it, once you're licensed, you will be getting documents to join the team for the period of time while you're in the program. This is not an EXP Realty internship, right? It's a Quote Group internship called SkillBridge RE at this point, hosted by EXP. It's our team putting it on. And so the expectation coming through the internship is as you get licensed, you join our team, you participate as a team member, you build skill set, you learn, right? You get value out of it and you provide value back to the company. So we do have our, Conrad will be reaching out if he hasn't already, to everyone within the program to verify where people are at within their licensure steps, because I know not everyone has their license at this point in time. Let's see, hands-on activities I already talked about. So again, a lot of different things, the open houses, door knocking, cold calling, drafting offers, all that stuff to give you guys opportunities to build those skill sets. And then the last thing I think I wanted to touch on as far as not really an update, but just reinforcing, and then I'll open it up for discussion and questions, is as you guys go through the program, you learn more about EXP, you have this opportunity. If you share this with anyone, right? You can do videos, you can put it on YouTube, you can write a blog about it, you can do whatever you want to about it. Obviously, we ask you to be honest about the company, hopefully portraying it in good light. But go out there and do your reviews, do your posts about what you're going through in SkillBridge. It's sort of a unique thing that still doesn't have that large a mass of people going through within the military. But also the reason that we let you know that you can do that is we have this program done for you, right? And so when you graduate and you partner with us at EXP, one of the options that you have is if you help people come into this program and go through it, you should be asking them to name you as the person that introduced them to the SkillBridge internship, right? When they fill out their application. Our team has been trained and directed that when they go through and they onboard people, they should be looking at that field to see if someone else besides ourselves brought the intern into the program. And if so, and if you're still a partner with us at EXP, that intern would then come under you as the sponsor, right? Because our goal is to help you guys build out RevShare as well. Our belief is that we need people out there that are doing the good work that want to help us duplicate, and we want you to build RevShare alongside us, not just all of it coming under us. And so that opportunity is out there for you guys. If you have questions on that, as always, feel free to reach out to our team. But with that, Tasha, if you don't have anything else, I'll open it up for questions, or if you have any other comments you want to make.
No, I don't. I think you pretty much covered everything.
So who has questions? Questions, feedback, anything? This is basically your guys' open forum.
Hi, David. This is Chris Stahl here.
Chris.
If we're already licensed, I was licensed back in November. I've been paired with the local EXP mentor, so I'm in that mentor program. But now if you're saying I need to join the Guilt Group team, not opposed to that,
right?
I believe that's going to kick me out of the mentor program that I'm already in. Can you elaborate more on that, or what the process should be there?
What state are you in, Chris?
Virginia.
Okay. So typically what we do with that, if it's not a state that we're licensed in or very familiar with the local contracts for, what we'll do typically is you would come onto the team. We will, when you're in the internship, you don't get paid a commission, right? But let's say you decided to stay on the team afterwards and you haven't done the 3 full deals. We would modify the team commission split to account for what your mentor split's going to be on those first 3 deals. We are in 5 states currently. We're only licensed in 2. So we do help a lot of folks that are, in states that we're not personally licensed. And that's worked really well. But we also understand we don't want to stack team splits along with mentor splits, along with the EXP splits, like once you come out of the internship, because again, the goal is helping you guys succeed. So we can work with you one-on-one with that, Chris, to see what the right approach is.
Copy that. Thanks. That makes a lot of sense.
And I'll also add to that, we will share a link that you can use to schedule a call with us, Chris, if you'd like to have some one-on-one time with us, and that goes for anybody on this call. And so, yeah, we can share a link with you and we can have, a private discussion about it too.
Fantastic. Yeah, I was hesitant to do that just because I know you guys aren't in Virginia, but let's set that up. That'd be great.
Yep. Sounds good.
Andrea, you have your hand raised.
So I just had a question as far as the hands-on activity. Would we be shadowing other agents, or would that solely be self, like would we be going by ourselves to those
Sure.
events?
Sure. So if you have a Guild Group agent in your area, we'll be partnering you up with one. We'll be doing the intro. And that way you can shadow them. If you don't, we may be able to partner you up with one of the teams that we know, if we have a team in your area, just to be able to shadow their agents, or even a solo agent, right? If not, there's still a lot of activities that you'll be able to do even if we don't have an agent locally. So there are some of the items that are both, will be for both licensed and unlicensed interns, like some of the cold calling we can have you guys do. We have to tighten down the script a little more, obviously, if you're going to cold call and you're not licensed, because you can't talk price, terms, that type of stuff, but you can try to set appointments, which is the whole goal of it. And it's building that skill set, right? So we can tailor it based upon whether or not we have an agent there, as far as what that looks like for you.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
I also, sorry, had one more question.
Yeah.
As far as the accountability call, would that be weekly? What's that looking like for the future?
Yeah. So the accountability call that Jeff does, I believe he does it twice a week, if I recall correctly. Yeah.
I just want to say that I did leave a comment in the chat. I put our link there to schedule a call with us. On that chat, I said you may not see very many options on there. We're actually headed out of town next week for a few weeks. So if you don't see a time that works on there for you, you can always just email me at tasha@guiltgroup.com and we can figure out a time to chat there. Otherwise, if we don't have time available, we may have to wait until we're back. But if you're not seeing times on there, I think I might have my option or my settings set as you can only book it 14 days out. So if you don't see it very many times, don't get discouraged. It's just because we're about to head out of town and I may have some openings that are not available on the calendar. So if you don't see something on there that works, just let me know and we can always chat when we're back as well. So, anybody else have any questions, comments?
The question I've seen come up a few times from past interns is if there's opportunities to stick around with EXP, not necessarily as a full-time agent, but as any other position, will those opportunities be available?
Yeah. So are you talking about corporate opportunities, or are you talking more about them doing part-time, referral license, that type of thing?
Really just anything in general. It's like, I think there was one person who wanted to do like transaction coordinator type stuff.
Sure.
Someone else just wanted just anything. So whatever options are available.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a few different options as you come out, right? Depending upon what your goal is. If you're getting a full-time job when you come out and you want to do real estate on the side until you can break through, I mean, there's different options. As far as the EXP option goes, you really have EXP Realty, right? So you can stay on the normal side, the $85 a month, pay for the association dues, and that's sort of like a normal full-up realtor, right? Whether you're doing it part-time or full-time. The other option really is switching your license to EXP Commercial as a full-time agent if you want to pursue commercial, which I don't really recommend for most folks until they get their feet wet in residential, just because commercial is a longer lead time. The commissions can definitely be larger, but they tend to be a lot farther between commissions. And it's just, the fees are a little bit higher, all that stuff. But you can switch over to EXP Commercial and hang your license in the referral division there. The referral division means that you can't actively do deals, right? So you can't write offers, show homes, you can't do any of that stuff. It's purely set up for you to do referrals to other agents to keep your license active. And you could do TC work while hanging your license that way. It changes your fee with EXP to $50 a month instead of $85 a month. You have referral splits on everything, obviously, but EXP Commercial is not a member of National Association of Realtors, and therefore it's not a member of the state and local, which means that you don't have to pay MLS dues and you don't have to pay those association dues. In fact, as a referral agent, you cannot get access to the MLS because EXP Commercial is not a member of the MLSs. So those are sort of the options coming out. They could definitely look to do TC work. There's also, I mean, you know, if let's say for the folks that come out and say, look, being a realtor, like that's not going to be my thing coming out. I decided it's not for me, but I like working sort of with a real estate company. There are the options to go after and pursue EXP corporate jobs that they have, right, that they post up. Those are basically all work at home jobs, right? Like EXP is a cloud-based brokerage. They don't have any physical offices. All the stuff is work from home. So those are the few options I think that they have coming out. Cool. Who else has a question? Open mic time, guys. There's no bad questions, no repercussions for asking questions. This isn't like command calls where the generals ask who has a question. They don't really want people to ask anything. I actually want to hear y'all's feedback.
Well, this is Clark, sir.
Hey, Clark.
I just want to give my feedback, not necessarily a question. So
Okay.
I definitely want to thank Zor publicly for all the assistance he's given me. Conrad has also been good. I just want to say that definitely getting on a call with you and Tasha was like game changer for me, and especially for my wife, because my wife's also a realtor for everybody else on the call. And so having that opportunity for her to ask questions and kind of figure out how that affects how I'm joining and everything like that was incredible. So I definitely appreciate the time, and I definitely recommend reaching out to you, you know, not for basic questions and things like that, administrative stuff, but being able to better understand, you know, expectations and you know, if you got certain situations like myself where I have a spouse that is a realtor. So I definitely appreciate that. I am looking forward to do the accountability calls because there is a ton of information, a wealth of knowledge that comes through the EXP different sites. So getting a little bit better with kind of sifting through that, so I can kind of really get my day kind of structured. So I'm definitely looking forward to that 100-point day structure. So that way, you know, we want to be making sure that we're hitting the right task at the right time, and so we don't get inundated with all the different information and things like that. So I just kind of wanted to provide that feedback, and I appreciate everybody's help and assistance.
Awesome. Appreciate that feedback, man. And for the call yesterday.
Definitely likewise. Team LeBron.
Absolutely. What else do you guys have? Any other feedback? Any other questions?
I just want to say too, for anybody that doesn't want to speak in a Zoom setting and would rather have a one-on-one discussion, I also left my link for a partner agent one-on-one. You can schedule a call with me there if you want to provide us feedback directly and you don't want to say it in front of a bunch of people. Because we're always looking to improve the program, and kind of like what I do with my team, I don't like reading minds, right? And so any feedback that you guys can provide is definitely helpful, because, you know, I never want to act like I'm doing things 100% correctly, right? And so, you know, I always like to be open to constructive criticism as well. And so if there's anything that we can do at all to help improve the program, we're definitely open to that. So with that, does anybody have any last thoughts before we close out the meeting today?
All
We
good?
did, I don't know, did we already mention that we uploaded the business planning session?
Has it been uploaded to the LMS already?
I think Conrad said that he did.
Conrad, can
I'm
you
not
confirm?
sure.
Not yet. I will do that today, but it's uploaded in the GGU in the past meetings. It's included there.
Okay, but it'll be
Okay.
uploaded in SkillBridge RE soon.
I will upload it today, later.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, so I would highly recommend that you guys go to that. It's a business planning session that we had with our team, but we also opened up to other agents. I think we had 16 team agents on, and throughout the course of the event, we had another 25 to 30 non-team agents join us for the event. It was about 4 hours straight over Zoom. We have about a 45-page business planning book that we went through. But the planning book included everything from what your survival number is, which if you don't know, that's critically important to know going into real estate, because again, there's no guaranteed income, and you want to make sure you have enough reserves and also understand what that number is. But I also went, I think, 30 to 45 minutes through a mindset exercise with folks, picturing the perfect day, talking about, comfort zone versus growth zone, just a lot of stuff that I've picked up over the years, going to masterminds, going to, high level events with, multimillionaires and people just, at the top of their game in their various industries, right? So I think that's a critical piece as you come into this, because real estate is a lot mindset. Some of it's going to be the activity that you do. A lot of it's the mindset that you have as you go about it, because it is an industry. And Clark, we talked about this yesterday, right? So you can attest to this. It is an industry that you're going to ride a roller coaster and you're going to be beat down some days, right? It is a very gratifying industry helping other people, but it is also a services-based industry serving people. And sometimes, unfortunately, people aren't the nicest, right? Or things go south with a transaction completely out of your control, and there are just bad days in this industry. So, as I like to say, it's not like what most of us have gone through in the military, right? This is not life or death in real estate, so we need to realize that. But it is helping people with one of the biggest financial decisions they're ever going to make in their life. And so it is critically important that we're on our game to be able to help them, and mindset's a big key for that. So it's also a big key for your growth. We can tell a lot of times talking to folks who we think has a great chance of success and who doesn't, just based upon the mindset and what they're willing to do, right? And the reality is this is a business where you have to be willing to hustle and do what it takes. And that's what most of us have been willing to do going through the military. So I think the military sets you up for success coming into this. I think, the skills, while they don't directly translate, right? Like if you're a boom operator, right, that does not translate to real estate. However, being in high pressure situations, working long days, like all that type of stuff, absolutely is directly applicable, right? And will help you serve your clients well. So with that, again, part of the focus for this year is getting some more in-person activities for you guys so that you can hone the skill set outside the classroom, if you will. So anyways, that's all I have. If you guys don't have any other feedback, I mean, we can hang back for a couple minutes if folks want to stay on, and then we'll drop once everyone else has dropped. But
I just wanted to ask David if maybe you wanted to explain what the 100-point day is a little bit more for those that haven't heard of it. Because I know some people said that they've heard of similar things to the 100-point day. I know you're going to post it, but did you want to explain a little bit more about what it is and what the expectation is there?
yeah, so I mean, the 100-point day, we're working with Jeff, right, as part of our team to set up actually a tracker for you guys to upload and input your score each and every day throughout your internship. And it's going to track on a graph whether or not you exceed or fail to meet the 100 points. And it should give you trend lines and some other stuff, ideally, once it's all set up. But the idea behind the 100-point day, there's a few different ways that people do this, but really the idea behind the 100-point day is winning the day through your actions, right? And having a dedicated period of time, whether it takes you 2 hours, 4 hours, whatever it is, of certain activities, so time on task over time, to ensure that you're going to win the day, right? And by winning the day, when you start looking at, books like Compound Effect and everything else, right? By doing those little small movements on a day-to-day basis is what allows you to win in your business. And so the idea is setting you up for success with that. We've got 100-point days built out where it's all different types of activities that are listed on there based on the expectations for you guys of what you'll be doing at various points in the program. So whether you're licensed or unlicensed, there's two different sheets. There's an unlicensed 100-point day and there's a licensed 100-point day, right? But like calls, for example, are 1 point, right? How many calls can you make? How many dials? How many texts are you doing? How many videos? Are you holding an open house? Did you write a buyer offer? Like all the types of activities that you need to be able to do in real estate to be successful and you should be doing on a routine basis. Those are tracked on the 100-point day, and it just helps give you a focus point. Like Clark mentioned, you know, Zohar, I'm sure can attest to, all the folks that have gone through, come out, done real estate can attest to. And this is an industry where literally you could spend 24/7 going to training, or you could spend 24/7 going to training and trying to implement in your business or writing notes or whatever, but never actually doing any activity that's money-making activity, right? And at the end of the day, we're all here to work. We're all here to make money and provide an income for ourselves and our family while serving our clients, right? So you need to be doing the client-facing activities that's serving them, that at the end of the day creates a commission at some point. And so the 100-point day helps you focus on what those activities are. And really your activities are going to be prospecting and follow-up, writing offers, right? Doing all the client-facing real estate stuff. The trouble that folks get into is they come into the industry and they're like, I need my website done before I can talk to anybody. I need professionally polished business cards and a professional photo before I can talk to anybody. I need my CRM number set up. I need my CRM set up. Like we tell ourselves all these things as excuses to delay actually going out and doing the work that makes the impact. And the reality is, like, it doesn't matter what website you have, what business card you have, all that stuff. If you're not doing anything client facing, like none of that matters, right? That stuff will come. There's a time and a place to get all that stuff done. But first and foremost, like when you get your license, one of the first things you should be doing, I know this is super anti what the military teaches us, right? Because we're all about OPSEC and not posting things out there and all that stuff. But we're all coming out of the military at this point, right? So you got to take the uniform off, you got to take the OPSEC aspect off, and you got to be a loud agent. Everyone, contradictory to like what a lot of us did going through the military, where maybe we didn't post a lot about the military. You didn't post military photos for a period of time when we had terrorist concerns, right? We were told, don't post photos of yourself in uniform, turn off your location, right? All those types of things for OPSEC purposes and for personnel security, right? But in real estate, you need everyone to know that you're a realtor, right? You don't have a terrorist risk around, hey, I'm a realtor, I'm a real estate agent, right? They're not coming to find realtors. So don't be a secret agent. That's one of the first things, right? When you pass your test, you should be announcing, hey, I got my real estate license. I'm embarking on this new journey. I like to look at it as I'm transitioning from serving my country, right, as all of us being military, to serving my community, right? You're serving your fellow person in your community by transitioning into real estate. And so as you do that, there should be announcements on Facebook, there should be changes on LinkedIn for your job, there should be Facebook job changes. All those things are public facing. And then start posting regularly about real estate to show that you're an expert within the industry and someone that people can rely on to help them with, again, typically what's their largest financial decision throughout their lifetime, right, is buying and selling a home, even renting a home. Like look, at the end of the day, like renting is typically almost as much as buying on a month-to-month basis. And regardless of whether you're renting or you're buying, like your decision on housing is critical to the quality of life for you and your family, right? And it's the same for all your clients. And so being able to walk them through those things is really important. That's really where the 100-point day stems back to, is just making sure that you're doing the activities you need to be an active real estate agent, doing stuff that will eventually produce commission for you and your family and will eventually provide you with opportunities to have clients to serve. Because again, unless you're calling, texting, emailing folks, posting on Facebook, whatever, you may have a random client here or there drop into your lap from some old buddy from 10 years ago in the military that finds out you're a realtor and says, hey, can you help me out? But like one transaction doesn't make a successful career, right? Those random transactions, while they're nice and while I love them, are not going to be the bread and butter of your career. I wish they were. That would be super easy, right? But none of us have a big enough sphere that's buying homes on a frequent enough basis for that really to sustain yourself. So you have to learn how to go out there and get clients that you've never met before. And that's what the 100-point day will help you do. Is that what you're looking for, Tasha?
Yes, I think that helps explain it.
David, you mentioned don't worry about setting up the website and the business cards and things like that. So what about having the S Corp or whatever your business structure is set up before you're really offering your services?
Sure.
So
I like to talk a lot about taxes and about saving money and keeping as much as you can. I'm a big proponent of finding ways to minimize your tax burden. We've had an S corp for many years. What I will say is, on that business aspect, unless you expect to make, I think typically the threshold is it's 50 to 60,000, depending upon the state, in that first year within commission income. The S corp will actually likely cost you more than it'll save you, just because of the additional tax burden and some other stuff. I do think it's a great setup long term, and you can easily do an LLC filing and then eventually convert to an S corp, right, through an S corp election. I think it's Form 2553 or something like that. But I don't think that should be the primary concern, right? You can do that as you go along. I mean, even if, let's say you get a client into contract, right? Most contracts are 30 days. I can set up an LLC and elect S corp in less than 30 days. So you can always do that after the fact. I think it's an important thing to be considering, but I don't think it's the most important when you're starting your business.
Okay, so nothing you got to be worried about, like, oh my gosh, I got to make sure those protections are in place so I don't get sued if I screw this one up or something like that.
No, so the real thing is, I mean, look, the reality is, depending upon where you're filing your LLC, we'll get a little bit into like asset protection and stuff. Depending upon where you're filing your LLC, the corporate veil is easy to pierce for the most part when you're a single member LLC, right? A lot of courts will look at it, and if you've done anything to commingle or anything else, they can easily pierce it and disregard the LLC. So then you lose that protection. The S corp doesn't do anything for you when it comes to, asset protection or anything else. The S corp is just a tax selection that allows you to tax the LLC as an S corporation, which then allows you to pay yourself a salary, a justified, reasonable salary per the IRS. But the salary then becomes the only thing that you pay self-employment tax on, as opposed to your entire income. And then your profit distributions, your K-1 distributions, are free of that self-employment tax, which is about a 16% impact, right? So, I mean, it's a big deal. I mean, self-employment tax also caps out at some point in time. So you've really only got so much exposure, non-LLC, non-S corp, on the self-employment side. Because realistically, for most areas, for most realtors, you're probably looking at a salary reasonable between 35 to 70,000, right? Social Security now, I think, caps out at 140, I think, somewhere around there for Social Security payments. And so really your delta between the two is that difference between whatever your salary would be and what Social Security caps out at and stops at, right, for that self-employment income tax that you'll be paying. But that is an important thing to consider, you guys, as you go forward and you look at like your survival number. When you're with the military, right, they pay the employer portion of Social Security, of all the various federal taxes, right? When you become the employee, whether you're a sole proprietor or an S corp paying yourself salary, you're both the employee and the employer. So you're paying both sides. So that's something just to keep in mind as you're looking at what your survival number is for commission, to factor that in. Great question, Joe. Anyone else? Everyone good? Check the chat. Zora, you have any follow-ups from stuff you've been hearing from folks?
No, not really, but I was just gonna add one thing that it's like when I first stuck around after completing the program, I would meet up one-on-one with almost every person that joined the program. The advice that I would give them is get licensed as soon as possible, because whether fast forward 6 months or whatever time you're in the program, when you get to the end of it, if you decide to stay as a realtor or you decide it's not for you, you'll know for a fact whether or not it is for you or not. But if you don't get licensed and you get to the end of the program, pressure sets in and you decide you need to get a job. Job is an acronym for just over broke, JOB. And you decide to go that route, you'll never know if real estate could have been for you. So that was the advice I would give to people, like, because most people were not licensed or even anywhere close. Now the advice I give is, as soon as you are licensed, talking to people. That's more like a few months or maybe like a year ago. Just talk to people. That's all you need to focus on. Just because if you're not talking to people, you're not generating business, like David said. But now my shift to that is talk to people, but make sure you're building your CRM, like have a controlled way to do that. That's methodical, that's measured. So you're not just because right, I'm in the process of transitioning to having a solid CRM that I stick to every day. But right now, this is my CRM right here, my cell phone. So it's like if I scroll through my text messages and haven't talked to one of my clients in a while, then I'm like, oh crap, I'll reach out to that person. But so going from our first year, I was just under 200K, and then this past year was 200. We were pretty much 290K, and that's after giving 60K in credits to clients to help them out. So pretty much over 300K, and that's with my CRM right here. And so imagine what our production could be if I actually use a CRM where it's a controlled every day, following up with everybody, not letting anybody get forgotten about. But yeah, so keeping the main thing of talking to people and doing it in a controlled way, which is with your CRM.
Awesome. Yeah, I appreciate that. And so two things that you just said. One, CRM, I'll tell you for the first 5 years of our business, probably, we did the same thing. It was all phone, spreadsheets, Word docs, notes on that desk, sticky notes, whatever, right? We recently, in the last couple of years, have moved over to Follow Up Boss. A lot of the top teams are on that. It's worked really well for us and our team. There's a lot of stuff you can build out, a lot of ways you can build out, regimented follow up with your clients so that they don't slip through the cracks. But again, I just want to identify, I don't know if y'all caught that, the number Zora was just talking about, but, SkillBridge graduate, 200K or so in the first year, just under 300 the second year. I'll tell you, that's not the path that we faced when we came into real estate and we were doing it on our own, which is why we created this program. For those of you that have heard me talk, I mean, our first year was low 5 figures, right? So we're in the $15,000, $20,000 income for the first year, and then 6 figures every year since then, and it's eclipsed 7 figures. So when I say this is literally an opportunity in front of you that can change your life, I mean it. I mean, Zora, I'm sure you can attest to it. It's great serving the clients. It's incredibly gratifying. The money's not bad either, to be able to change your life and change your financial position and eventually possibly create generational wealth, right? So I mean, for us, we cycle real estate money back into real estate. That's been life-changing for us and for our family and for what we're setting up for the future. But also for those of you coming through, whether you've got a military retirement or not, you literally have a military retirement like annuity capability in front of you with EXP with revenue share. And so we've spent about 2 years now helping agents come over to EXP, build, and then come through the SkillBridge program and do that. And in a 2-year period, I'm retiring out after 22 years. In a 2-year period of us talking to people about EXP and them joining and partnering with us, our revenue share has exceeded what my military retirement is going to be. And I did that last year, and that was a goal of ours. And so to me, that just, again, it changes lives, because if we pass away, that's actually something that we can pass on in our will to our heirs. All they have to do is go get a real estate license, which is super simple. And they can just keep receiving that revenue share, the revenue share. I know in military, if I pass away and I pay for survivor benefit programs, great. Tasha can get 40, 50% of my military retirement that I worked 22 years for. But if she passes away, the rest of her family gets nothing. That's not the case with how EXP is set up. They purposely did it the way they did it to try to help create generational wealth. And so use the opportunity that's in front of you if that's something that you desire. The agent attraction aspect is not required of anyone. At EXP, probably 85% of agents don't talk to agents and have no desire to do agent attraction. And that's perfectly fine. But if you want to, it's a great opportunity in front of you. So. All right.
I think Clark had a question.
I was just going to say, we can stick around for a couple until everyone drops off, but if there's no other questions, Tasha, did you have
Clark
anything
had a
else?
question, David.
Okay, sorry, I missed it.
Yeah.
Go for it.
No, just a quick question as far as I've been on the workplace. They're always offering, people trying to kind of coach you, help you, and things like that. And some of it is free information, and then some of it is also like paid. So for one particular there was a guy on there who gave a really great presentation on getting you to generate leads for rental for those who, you know, not necessarily buying, but he has a script and things like that to teach you how to improve on getting rental clients. So what is your recommendation on stuff like that? Should we not participate in that? Because potentially you probably will be having something similar or providing something similar program.
Yeah, good question. So I will tell you this, as y'all come into this industry, it's completely different than the military, right? So no one's calling you up in the military asking for money, asking for your business. That's just not the industry that we're in, right? So, or again, you can attest to this. Any of my licensed folks can attest to this. The minute you add yourself onto a license list, applying for a license, whatever, every vendor in the world comes out of the woodworks and starts calling you, asking for money and promising the world. And the reality is the vast majority of them are not worth anything. Any text you ever get that says, hey, we'll send you free leads, it's only referral at closing, absolutely free. I recommend you respond back to them and go, do you have an initial setup fee or a monthly fee outside of that referral fee? And although they claim it's free, almost every single one of them charges anywhere from a $400 to a $1,200 setup fee. And you're likely to never see anything for that money. Right now they got their $1,200, they're moved on, they don't do anything for you, there's nothing you can do. You just wasted $1,200. Don't highly recommend, don't sign up for Zillow Premier. We're seeing very, very, very few leads come through that to folks. And when it comes to your question about, well, another one, I'll hit on this one first, then I'll move on. Golf course ads, supermarket ads, all that type of stuff. It's all over the place. Can it be done? Sure. I don't think it should be your first pillar as you're building out your business, right? Your first pillar literally needs to be finding a way to do business the way that you want to do it, interfacing with people, getting in front of them. To Clark's point, like a lot of y'all may not have talked to us, you know, one-on-one or had discussions or whatever, as you're still in the process of getting licensed. When that comes about, it's just different when you get in front of people, right? It's different when you can have a conversation, whether it's on Zoom, on the phone, whatever, versus sending a text, sending an email, or them seeing your ad on a billboard or on a shopping cart. So let's say you have a dog, you like dogs, go to dog events, go look at meetups, go to dog events, bring your dog, hang out with people, have business cards, ask them what they do, follow to the most basic recommendation I can give you is follow the Ford method, family, occupation, recreation, dreams, right? Talk to them about those things. Typical human nature is they're going to reciprocate and ask you what you do for a living. Ask you what your goals are. That's your perfect opportunity to talk about the fact that you're a realtor and that you can help them if they want to and hand them a business card. Make it no pressure. Just, hey, now they've got your contact info, right? Get theirs if you can. That gives you an opportunity. Like, we're into exotic cars. We like car stuff. We've sold multiple homes from going on car drives. We both get to go out and enjoy doing the car drive, which is something we love doing, and we're selling homes because of it. To me, that's a perfect setup. Right? So find those types of things as you're looking to build. And then to Zohar's comment that he just dropped in, I really believe that you should be 6 months to a year into your career and have several sales under your belt before you decide if you're going to spend any money on any coaching. With any EXP, and this is different if you're outside of EXP, okay? If y'all don't stick with EXP at the end of the day and you go to a KW or a Coldwell or whatever, they're going to sell you coaching. They've got their own in-house coaching programs. They don't do a lot of the stuff that we do with collaboration and free training. It's just a different world out there. And I know that from being at some other brokerages. But EXP, you have so much free training that's available to you just because we all get rev share at some point. We're all getting stocks, right? When we sell homes or our partner agents sell homes. So there's a common glue among us, a common desire for the company to succeed. And the amount of free training that's out there is more than you could ever attend in your lifetime. And most of it's put on by industry experts that are doing more than you could ever imagine that's possible for you to do. So like if you want to do listings at a high level, go into EXP and check out any training that Nolly Williams has or Brian Ernst has. Those are two names that come to mind for me because they both do a couple hundred listings or more a year when they were selling active real estate. If you can go to any Jay Kinder training, go to that. He's one of our partner agents. He was the #2 Coldwell Banker agent in the world before he came to EXP. Okay, think you can learn a thing or two from him. Go to Brent Gove stuff, right? If you're not into the agent attraction stuff, make sure it's a Brent Gove training, not Brent Gove agent attraction item, because he does do both, right? But Brent owned multiple KW market centers and everything else before he came to EXP. Has sold a lot of real estate. There is just so much stuff both within our organization So you have us, right, in the training we provide in SkillBridge RE. You have Fast Forward Movement is the next level up, which is Dan Beer, Kyle Whistle, right? Two competing teams where they're friends and they collaborate in the same market in San Diego. 2 years ago, I don't know what last year's volume was, but 2 years ago, they did about $1 billion in volume between the two teams. Okay. So you have them. You have Kenny Truong that contributes within that group as well, who his team did almost $1 billion. He's out of the San Francisco area. Then you have the Honey Badger group, right, which is run by Jay Kinder, Michael Reese, John Kitchens, who, by the way, is a paid life coach, right, and does a lot of ultra marathons and all that stuff. You can go into those groups and get some of his coaching for free in those groups. And people are paying him a lot of money for coaching, right? Same thing with Jay and for Michael and all that. And then you have 60 something hours a week of live training in EXP World, plus all the thousands of hours of recorded training within EXP University, within the library. So before you start going out and paying for stuff that you don't have to with commissions that haven't been generated yet and money that's not there, plug in all the free stuff. Hopefully that answers the question.
Absolutely.
Cool.
One quick thing I'll add to that, the only because I've kind of been there with paying for stuff, and the only difference between the free training that's available and the training that's being marketed to you because you just got licensed is that you're paying for it. And so one of the things I've heard on the Fast Forward Movement group is that some guys, they do accountability with money. So you find an accountability partner. Hey, if I don't complete all these training videos, or if I don't call 10 people within the next 2 days, then I owe you $100. So if you want that pain of money coming out of your pocket, you can do that. But there's free training available. The only difference is between the free training and the paid training is that you're paying for it. So just keep that in mind.
Cool, guys. If that's it, we'll hang around to see if anyone wants to stay on and ask any other questions, but we're good for today. Again, appreciate all of you. Look forward to seeing your growth throughout this program and hopefully partnering with you at EXP after you graduate and helping you grow.
We appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much. Hey, Joe, did you want to stay behind since we're already here? Okay.
Yeah, that totally works. We don't even have to dial into the other Zoom.
Yeah. Sounds good. We'll wait for everybody else to drop off.
All right.
Unless we're kicking
No.
people off that have questions.
No, no problem. I'm going to go ahead and refill my water and be good to go.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Good to see you, Conrad.
Bye, Conrad.
Good. I'm believing David tayo.
Okay. Sounds good. I'll be right back, David.
All right. All right. Give us just a minute, Joe, and we'll get started.
Yeah, no problem. Oh, take your time.
While we're waiting on Tasha, how's stuff going with Andrew?